that noise, then it comes after a while. Like us, needs a bit of time to wake up. Okay, so how is everybody? Don't know? Come on, you're still alive, guys. Like, this is a reason to rejoice. We could all have died last night. Yeah. This is it about this practice also. We really learn, just this is your main point actually, is to learn to have a relaxed and open and happy mind. And because the mind is totally dependent on thoughts, we can we don't understand this. We don't understand that our mental states, that we have a control over them. If you're aware and if you know how to do these things, and only after a while. But when we don't even try and we let the mind go anywhere it wants, this is how we're tossed around, and then we have to take medicine and all this. So it's not really like that. You can really learn how to take good care of your mind the way you can learn how to take good care of your body. This is the thing. But you need to know how. It needs effort. It takes a lot of time. So it entirely depends on you if you want to do it or not. But the methods are there. Yeah? And there's not only this Tibetan Buddhism method, there's other methods also. So you choose whatever you think it works for you, then you do that. And you don't have to become a Buddhist in order to practice these things. Of course, taking refuge, again, it helps. If you become a Buddhist, then it's very clear what you want. I want to stop harming others. I want to start to be of benefit and of help as much as I can. How can I do that? If I develop my mind, if I purify the negative emotions, and if I develop the positive ones, and then that's it. So it's a style of life. It's not really something you do it on Saturday, or you only do it on... There's no Buddhist holiday, by the way. They have to work 7 days a week. There's no rest from watching the mind and training the mind. And then one takes every occasion in your life that you can use, that you can transform your mind. Again, for many, many years your mind will still go into moaning and oh poor me and why is this happening to me and all this for many, many years, maybe for many lifetimes. Yeah, like this question, how long do I have to meditate on that? A few lifetimes, I'm sure. This one lifetime is not enough. But it's the same way as when you want to become a millionaire. You're not becoming from zero and all of a sudden, boom, and then you're a millionaire. It goes like stage-wise. So you start to feel, a little bit better here, a little bit better there, a little bit more space in the mind, a little bit more patience, a little bit less anger, a little bit less self-cherishing. And so slowly, slowly you make progress. Very often people ask me, well, how do you know that there is enlightenment? I don't know. But I can see that this benefits my mind. And for me, that's good enough. That's really good enough. Very often people ask me, is it worthwhile? Well, does it have to be worthwhile? How many things do we do that are really worthwhile? Why are we so concerned that spiritual practice has to be worthwhile? Is it worthwhile to eat an ice cream? Is it worthwhile to watch a movie? Is it worthwhile to spend all these hours on the telephone? Is it? Is it? Okay, so then you just keep doing that. If you see, whatever the mind really grasps as worthwhile, that makes you happy. This is what. And so, but if you say yes and you don't mean it, then you're just fooling yourself. This is the thing. And what happens with not just this practice, but I think with all spiritual practices, you learn to be really honest. You learn to really get to know yourself. We know so many things about all other things outside there. We know so little about our own mind. Yet we all know, if we want to be happy, it depends on our own mind, not on anything else. Yet so little effort is being spent by trying to understand it. How does it work? What do these negative emotions do to me? And what can I do about them, isn't it, in the world? It's quite amazing, actually. It's quite amazing how reluctant we are to do something difficult. So we can relax also, we're lazy, because the Buddhas have been around since beginningless times. Now we are still here, we're still not enlightened. What does it mean? We're not the best of the students. So we're still trying, we're still here, we're still groping, we're still kind of, but it's okay. For those who, just to be exposed to these things, just to be introduced to these practices. Wow, this is amazing. Then it's up to you. You want to do it, you want to take them up, you do. If you don't, you don't. It's fine, But then don't go kind of complaining, oh, karma, this is unfair. So many people are exposed to, you do a negative action, there will be a negative result. Maybe everybody, actually. How can you say people don't know? Yeah? So we know it, but then we have to abide by it. So like that. So this is why Buddhism becomes quite, how to say, complicated? No, but quite, it's your responsibility, nobody else's. So you stop whining and you stop complaining. So it gives you a lot of self-confidence, actually, and inner strength. Because your own mind, you can't transform it. The mind of others, how can you transform them? With money? With power? Not really, is it? Or can you? No. Can you transform your own mind? Well, yeah. And here are the methods. Okay, so page 11. Again, we go through these puzzle stones. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and venerable Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him or her with great respect. So again, it doesn't mean that you need a good personal Guru now in order to be able to practice these things. As I said, first you start practicing, then you see that this appeals to me. And you need to know the whole package before you go and try to find a Guru in a certain tradition. Not just what you like. Yeah? Because the Gurus usually, because they see the power of these practices, they don't have this kind of compassion that I have, that I'm not giving you the whole package because you might get angry or might not like it. Yeah? They give you the whole package, and then what? And then you get angry and you get disappointed. And that always creates big hindrance on the path. We all know it. I mean, again, it's not something mystical. If somebody that you respect and somebody that you trust tells you to do something and then you don't do it, what kind of mind is created through that? Huh? Upset. Tense. And then when the Guru comes to your country, you're not even happy. Because you didn't do what he or she told you to do. Yeah? So, if you do have a Guru, it's finished that you decide, oh no, this is not what I want to do. You can tell the Guru, that's fine. If the Guru is telling you, do this, and anyway, they won't be telling you, do this. They will first ask you, what do you want to do? So they see where you stand. So they start to understand, does this person know the path? If you don't know the path, they will say, well, then go first and study. And then you ask what? And they say, well, this is what we're doing now, here, the Lam Rim. Or something like that. Yeah? And then when they see that you're serious, then they will maybe send you to bigger practices, like who last like a month or even more. Yeah, so like that. So I have gurus, I don't have just one. I have a main guru, but I have others. So I think for you, if you're new, that is enough. I mean, without me having a guru, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be teaching. Because it's the guru who then knows you and knows that you're ready to go out, who says, okay, you can go. Yeah, but otherwise I wouldn't be here. So whoever writes a book that is of value has a guru. And whoever is trying to, we always have, especially we Westerners, there's no Westerner that should go out to teach without having an authority above him that you can go and complain to, hey, what this person is doing is not right. Do you see what I mean? So, so if you have complaints about me, that would be the FPMT. So just in case, okay? So, and it's okay, it's okay if you have complaints, do voice them, don't swallow them and whatever. Or it's the Dharma friends, I don't know. First maybe go to the Dharma friends and then they can tell me. And I really mean it. If you have complaints, this is why when I ask you how are you and you don't feel well and you don't say anything, how am I supposed to know, and then how can we discuss it? Yeah. So if you go to a guru, you see, a guru is not like a psychotherapist that you just go blah 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 all your problems. It's the other way around. First you say what you want to do, and then you listen what he or she has to say. My personal guru, I mean, he didn't know anything about my private life. It's not necessary. You go when you think that the practice that you're doing is not working. Like you go to a doctor. When you say, the medicine you gave me, I'm applying it, it's not working. Then you go. When you start to put these things into practice in order to have support. Yeah? And yeah, it's all like that. At the beginning, you really don't need like your personal guru. What do you think, Leora?
Many things.
Many things. Well, I didn't want you to be so specific. And finding your guru is a hard thing, by the way. Okay? You will know when that person is there. And I had my personal guru in front of my nose for a year and a half, having contact with him, getting initiation from him. He's the one who came for the Vajrasattva retreat, who gave us that gold medal when we were all suffering in the retreat. And it took me so long until I understood that he is my guru.
How did you know?
You just know. How I got to know, when I followed an advice, I went there because somebody was pestering me but that I should do Yamataka practice. And I thought, this is too complicated, this is too difficult, I'm a beginner, it's not for me. So in order for this monk to stop pestering me, I went to see that Lama because he was available, he was the only one I knew, so I thought I'm going to ask him. I wanted to know. I wanted to know from him. So I went and said, look, this monk says that I should do this practice. I think I am not ready. You can go like this to the guru. And he said, no, it's good to do. And I went like, shit. I have no initiation. So I said, well, I don't have the initiation. Then he said, well, go and get it. And I was so naive. I could have asked him. I thought, where on earth am I going to get an initiation? But it's the first time in my life I followed an advice, even thinking, this is not for me. The next time I saw him, I recognized him as my guru. I saw him from the back, I went like, it's him. You see, if you're not ready to follow advice, even though you think this is not good for me, you don't need a guru, because then you have that upset mind not following advice. And I've seen people, I heard people coming to me and say, oh, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and he gives you big tasks. So, Lama Zopa Rinpoche is coming to France. I am in France, but I'm feeling I want to go to Germany when he's there. And I know it's totally wrong because it's my guru, but I don't dare to go there because I didn't do da-da-da-da-da. So I said, write a letter to him, confess. And then you can go. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Whenever you don't follow advice, immediately confess it. If you can confess like directly when the guru is there. But the ego doesn't want to do this. The ego usually goes and says all the things you've done that he told you to do. And he's not interested. What you've done, that's it, finished. But you need to go with things that you still cannot do, where you have problems. Otherwise it's like going to the doctor and you have a heart problem, but you go and half an hour you go on about how good your stomach is. What a waste of time. Your time, the doctor's time. He doesn't need to know how wonderful we are and we practice patience and all this. If we practice it, it's good enough that we know it. This is where the honesty comes in. You see, and even they see it, because sometimes we see people practicing, and it's just what I think, or other people also, practitioners, and we think, wow, they really don't practice. Have they ever heard about self-cherishing? Look at them, blah, blah, blah. And then we hope that the Guru is going to tell them like a parrot. They're not. They're not telling you what you're doing wrong. You have to find out what you're doing wrong. They're making you be able to practice on your own. This is where they want to guide you, not holding your hand and asking, should I buy a red or a green toothbrush? Sometimes people are like this. They think the Guru is for that. Every little thing they go and ask. And it's also not like, you don't need to have contact with your Guru every day or every month. If he's in your region and he teaches, or even if he teaches somewhere in Asia, of course you go. Once a year or something like that. And then you talk about your practice, what works, what doesn't work, like that. Okay, so much for the Guru. Yeah.
I can say one thing that came to my mind, that in the beginning when I came to Tajo, so he told me to do this and this and this. Then it was a group, and then he taught some other thing to the daily practice. And I asked him later, why didn't you tell me to do that? So he said, because you told me you have only 1 hour.
Exactly.
So you could not do that. So
yeah.
And bit by bit, the time is
it's coming more because there is joy in the practice.
But at the beginning he knew what I can do, and he said, okay, you do that, just that.
Yeah. This is usually also, people come to ask me, what shall I do? I ask them, how much time do you want to invest? How much time do you have? And if the person says, oh, I don't have time, then I tell them, try to do 1 minute. 1 minute of concentration and 1 minute of mindfulness, but every day. And then they see that, it's actually possible. It's a routine that you need to develop. This is more important than what am I doing at the beginning. It's important, like the same way, brushing your teeth. At the beginning, how many of you, your mom never had to tell you, did you, or ask you, did you brush your teeth? Like from the beginning, you were given a toothbrush, you always brushed your teeth every day. How many of you? How many of you are not forget to brush your teeth in the morning or after lunch? Nobody. Why? We got used to it. But at the beginning, we have to be reminded. So the Guru is not there to call you, did you sit today? But that's what you can do. If you have problems with sitting every day, then ask a friend and say, can I call you every time I don't sit to confess? That will help you to sit. Until you have the discipline and the routine. Because you feel stupid having to phone every time. Say, yeah, actually I wanted to sit, but didn't. And no excuses, just, I didn't sit today, SMS or whatever, something like that. That's a tool to help you, because we're not disciplined. Same as with the brushing teeth. Also brushing teeth, we didn't see the benefit as children. If you would know to the benefit of brushing teeth and not eating sweets when you were children, as we are told, when you say, oh karma, they don't know. So many things we know, we don't want to know, because it's inconvenient. We've been told, we didn't listen. Oh, we would have such healthy body and healthy teeth now, isn't it? Many of my generation, they don't have good teeth because we were given all these antibiotics also. When they were a little cold, a little throat, boom, antibiotics, syrup immediately. So that rots the teeth also. So one didn't know then. One thought antibiotics, this is the thing to save humanity. One didn't see the shortcomings of it. Because he was quick. He was quick to take care of your infection. So then it was overused. So like that. Okay, so it's the same thing with the Guru, Don't think if you wait with the practice until you find your Guru, you will never find your Guru. If you just do whatever you can, the Guru at one point will manifest. And this, everybody kind of affirms that this is like that. And how do you know? You just know. You just know. And then you have to check if that guru is telling what it is supposed to say. So in order to do that, you need to know the teachings. Okay. There's a lot of false gurus around, by the way, because they see our naivete and our kind of blue-eyedness, kind of, I want the guru, and they act like a guru. Not necessarily that they know that they are false gurus. They're just even more deluded than we are, and they take advantage of your money, if you're a beautiful female, of your body, you know, and then people come screaming, sexual abuse, blah, blah, all this. If you read the text, I mean, even in this little booklet, you have at the beginning the 10 qualities of a Mahayana guru. So check if that person has these qualities or not before you throw yourself on that person's neck. The Dalai Lama, sometimes he says, he looks at us Westerners, he says, you're so funny, you know. On one hand, you're so intelligent. Then on the other hand, you're so stupid. So any Tibetan who looks flashy with brocade, sits on a high throne and gives very complicated initiations, then you fall for that person. You become his disciple. And then you get closer to the person. You see that the person has more delusions than you have. And then he says, then you come and complain to me. And he says, I'm not sending these people to the West. They're going on their own accord because they found some people who trust them and who believe them and who follow them. The Tibetans wouldn't follow them because they know the teachings. So they wouldn't follow them. Then, you know, it's a complicated thing. Then sometimes the guru does manifest anger or attachment or whatever. Then you go like, oh. But maybe it's just showing you a mirror, so you need to see what he's doing. Trungpa Rinpoche, you know, what he manifested is like, one is still not sure, is that just manifestation or was he really such a ball of desire and attachment? If you read the books that he writes, then you think it was on purpose, because the way he's able to explain like the ultimate reality in a way, and how our mind projects, is like he must have had very high realizations to be able to explain it like that. I don't know how many of you know Trungpa Rinpoche's books. Trungpa Rinpoche, Chogyam Trungpa. He died quite a number of years ago. So be careful when you read these books. He always talks more or less about crazy wisdom. The wisdom that comes from realizing emptiness. So for a normal, ordinary person, this is crazy. Yeah? And also he gives you these tasks of take the blame. Whatever happens, you take the blame. Even if you're not to blame, you say, I did it. You know, everything that he teaches goes against this ego mind. So in order to be able to do that, you need to be quite strong. You need to have healthy self-confidence, that you can go against your ego again and again and again and again. Asian people who grow up with this view that at the bottom they're good, they're fine, and this goodness cannot be destroyed, they can do this because they know this goodness is only covered. We, with our huge egos, we have to first build it up. I am good and I'm nice and then we can destroy it. Once we build it up. Because otherwise you destroy the whole of you instead of just destroying the wrong you. Okay. So, you know, what the guru is doing sometimes to you might be quite cruel. But it's to poke you. So that you see where you are. Otherwise, if he just keeps praising you, you're so wonderful and do this, where's the progress? We're not making any progress. It's like the doctor praising you for your good stomach, but he doesn't take care of your heart. Because there's not much time, because he spent so much time praising you about your good stomach, and then, oh, the hour is over, so sorry, didn't have time to look at your heart. So like that. But if you can't take it, then he would be very nice. Actually, the guru being very nice to you sometimes is not a good sign. It means you're very weak. Yeah. So like that. Then, next one. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful, is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. We enjoy, like when your mind goes, poor me, and then you go, hey, but you have these methods, you have a Sangha, you have teachers coming to this country, you can learn how to take care of the mind. Stop whining and do something. This is this one. Stop moaning. Then next one, if you want to do something, you have to be aware this life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follows. If we want to train the mind, we know I have to start now. Cannot put it off. So at the time of death, there's nothing to regret. And you see, just this one thought, you can get used to that thought. Your mind goes into, life is difficult, Then you go ahead, hey, but I'm alive. Just that. It kind of tears this whole, it's gone. Rinpo Rinpoche, when we were complaining about things, he would start telling us what he had to endure with the Chinese soldiers in prison. Not moaning, just saying, imagine what, sometimes they did such crazy things. This is how he would talk. He said, one day, they just decided that they should tie my hands behind my back. And they left me like that for days. So I made pee-pee caca in my pants. Getting up and sitting down is very difficult. Eating was not possible. Somebody had to feed me if somebody was there. And he had, because somebody had just complained that he has to go to Australia and he doesn't like Australia. So Rinpoche then started telling us what happened to him in prison. Then we went like, oh yeah, maybe Australia is not so bad. It's all relative. And you see how these people have no hate or anger, only compassion towards these Chinese soldiers that tortured them. And even say, my time in prison was the best time in my life because I saw that the practice works. There's this really inspiring story where one of these lamas comes out of Tibet, also imprisoned for many, many years. And he went to see the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama said, were you ever in danger? And the Dalai Lama thought like danger of life, and he said, yes, twice I was in danger. I was in danger of losing compassion for the one who was torturing me. Isn't that a beautiful mind? And we can attain that by training. Why are these people like that? Not because they have it in their genes, but because they do these things. They do this very structured practice of first rejoicing about our situation that we have, then wanting to do something about it, then the next one, finding firm and definite conviction in this. Please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Let me stop to do negative actions which create Chinese soldiers. You see, Gachin Rinpoche, first time he came to Israel, he said, hello, my name is Gachin Rinpoche. For 13 years I was imprisoned by the Chinese soldiers. That is my own karma that they helped me purify. Like the dentist who hurts you, fixes the hole. It hurts, but then the hole is finished. The negative karma is gone. So they see them as a help, instead of seeing them as a hindrance. I mean, for us, this is far too high. So don't even try, you will crash. Start with the person who is always standing on your parking lot that is yours when you come home. Or start with the people here having a party when you want to sleep. Instead of getting upset, you go, but they're having a good time, they're not fighting. How wonderful. Start where you are, start there. But see these examples, these very high examples as inspiration. Wow, this is how far I can get with that practice. But don't try it, otherwise you are like the rabbit who tries to do lion's deeds. Rabbits have very weak hearts. They die of heart attacks very quickly. A thunderstorm, your rabbit can die because they have a heart attack. They're frightened. I've seen it. And then, you know, if people don't know it, because the kids have been playing with the rabbits, and then there was a thunderstorm, and because that's what I asked. She said, my kids killed the rabbit. I said, what? Me? Like, well, they played with it, and then he was dead. And it came out that it was during a thunderstorm. So rabbits die when there's noise like this because they have very weak hearts. Or if you throw them in the air, don't throw them in the air. This is also a reason for them to die, even if you catch them. So if you do lion's deeds with a rabbit's heart, of course you crash. So if you buy your kids rabbits, be aware of what happens. I think hamsters are more sturdy than rabbits. Rabbits are really weak hearts. So you have to teach your children to be very gentle with them. And if they want to throw things, buy them a ball or something. Well, you know, it's kids. I mean, there you can't say ignorance is bliss. Seeking, okay, so that's the lower scope. The lower scope is I don't want to end up in a suffering state like Syria, or if you don't believe in hell realms, you can go over there. It's good enough. So I have to be careful of my negative actions. I don't want to end up in a Chinese prison where I'm tortured. So I have to purify whatever I created before, and I have to be careful what I'm doing now. What we did before, we don't know. So all that we can do is purify. Whether it works or not, we don't know, because we don't feel these negative imprints. So it's like being in Fukushima, where there is atomic fallout. You don't feel anything. You keep drinking the water if nobody tells you, hey, don't drink that, don't eat the fish, don't eat the vegetables. If nobody tells us, we do it. So funny enough, there we believe it. We don't see anything yet. But we can imply Chernobyl, people after 20 years, the kids that were born there were like, they had like handicapped or things like that. People got a lot of cancer and and all this. So we know the effects. And still, we're kind of building atomic plants. It's a bit stupid, isn't it? Just for the sake of having electricity. I mean, it's so dangerous, you know. Everybody tells you, no, it's not dangerous. Earthquake in our country, no. Floods like this. Funny. That's human beings. That's confusion. That's ignorance. You know, we risk something for something really small. Electricity. So what? It's like people survived without electricity before. So there we understand. So if somebody would come, even you don't feel anything in your body yet, and somebody would come and say, I have an antidote for this. It's an injection. The injection hurts a bit. And unfortunately, I don't have enough for everybody. People would kill for that, even though they have no idea whether they would get cancer, whether they are contaminated or not. Do you think that's true? Okay. Then we do 10 minutes of purification meditation in a Buddhist course. Doesn't hurt. It's available for everybody. It's up to you whether you want to take it or not. And then what happens? What happens? People get upset. You are introduced to very clear purification practices. How you can purify the karma that you've created in the past that you don't feel yet and is not manifested yet. Strange, isn't it? Isn't it strange that one gets upset? Because nobody told you to take it. If you don't want to take it, you don't. But when it comes down to these things like atomic fallout and all this, wow, we would kill for such an injection, which is maybe expensive and it hurts. Saying mantras doesn't hurt. Having light coming into you and really when you're ready, when you're open, flushing everything out that you find is a hindrance. It's so liberating. So liberating. And if you want to put a God there, you can put a God there. Doesn't have to be a Buddha. But the regret of having done negative actions, the wish to purify because you're afraid of the result, and the determination not to do the action anymore, this has to be there. Otherwise your mind doesn't let go. You see, you go like, oh, purification, how wonderful. I purify in the evening, next day I can do the same thing again. Then you're not purifying. Because it's your subtle mind who is creating these karmic imprints, not the Buddha, and not God, and not Jesus, and nobody else of these people. Do you see what I mean? So therefore it's also your mind who can purify it, who can get rid of it. Nobody else. Now, if you have that much healthy self-confidence that you think, my mind is so pure, I can do this without the Buddha. Yes, you can do it without the Buddha. But do you have this confidence that you, by yourself alone, you can purify your negative karma? If you have that confidence, that would be the best. The Buddha would be very happy about this, because that means you trust your Buddha nature, and then you start to look for it. If, for example, you think, Buddha who lived 2,500 years ago, I don't believe in that one, because I don't know, maybe yes, maybe no. But I believe that I can become a Buddha, so I see myself as whoever, Vajrasattva, in space in front of me, who sends light. And this is my mind stream in the future, the result of my practice. That's the best. You know, when I blow out the candles, because one shouldn't, is nothing, one shouldn't blow because it's kind of impure and all that. I visualize myself as Chandresik, and then I blow them out. So even though I do something that one shouldn't do, but it helps my practice, because for 2 seconds I am Chandresik, which otherwise I forget during the day. Yeah, so like that, this is why I blow, because this whole thing like this is so dangerous. Like very often then it goes flying and everything is full of wax and dirty and all this. So this is what I mean. If these outside images, we use them as support. Trust, faith. Trust and faith is so strong. In Mexico, there are so many miracle cures with the Virgen de Guadalupe. I don't know if you know it. No? There's a cathedral, Mexico City, there's a Virgin, there's a virgin with a green coat. And she's the Virgen de Guadalupe. People go there. Lourdes, you know Lourdes? You have heard about Lourdes? Lourdes? Yeah. People go there. Some of them, they get cured. The doctors say, we don't understand. Why do they get cured? 2 things. A powerful object where people come with a lot of faith and practice. That's one aspect. The energy there is different than in the middle of a city with a lot of cars and a lot of desire. Yeah. People come there with a good heart, and then the trust. Why don't we have these miracles here? Because we have no trust. We don't believe in them. That's the only reason. So it's not miracles that happen. It's like the right conditions for miracles to happen, so-called miracles, come together, and then that's it. So these 4 powers are creating miracles, which are not miracles, which is dependent arising or dependent origination. So if you start to understand your mind, then you start to understand how these practices work. And if you start to do it, just as, you say, okay, I'm going to swallow this pill, let's see what happens. All of a sudden you see that it actually works. See, a doctor can give you white, green, yellow pills. You have no idea what's inside. But you have a headache, and you need it, or you have a sickness. You swallow it without any questioning. What is it? What does it do? I want to know what it's for. Why? Because you trust the doctor. And that can be more harmful than saying mantras, if you swallow just about anything. If you would be desperate, somewhere in the jungle, and you have an open fracture, and no doctor anywhere, and then is this medicine man coming with feathers and like that, and he gives you something to drink, and he says, or he puts something on your wound or whatever, gives you something to drink. Would you drink it? Yes. So, try to find ways and means to purify the negativities of the past. Don't just let it sit there, because otherwise your mind will maneuver you into a situation where the negative karma can ripen. Not the Buddha, not God, your own subtle consciousness, you can call it like that, so that you can make up for the negative action. That's how it works. Then, so if we abstain from negative actions, that's not enough. We need to purify the past ones. Yeah, because we still have a lot of residue sitting there. Then you would have a precious human rebirth every time round. Then again you can say, when will I know when everything is purified? We will not be everything purified until we attain liberation, not for enlightenment but liberation. Because we keep creating more karma. Even our positive karma is flawed. Why? Because there's a real me doing a real action with a real self. So that's why the happiness that comes from our positive actions does not last. There's a moment and then it's finished. That's why. That's why, like, lasting happiness you can only have when you have purified your mind of all wrong concepts of a real me, I, there. So then the next one is you gain a precious human rebirth, or human rebirth at least every time round. And then you have desire and you have aversion. So then we start to see these two things as our enemies by seeing, even though outside conditions are very good, but because of desire and because of aversion, I spoil the fun in my life. I cannot celebrate life because whenever one of these negative emotions come up, your peace of mind is destroyed. And you cannot enjoy anything when you don't have peace of mind. This is the thing. So with the desire and attachment, we think it helps us to get what we want. But it also creates the fear of loss. So then the pleasure is gone. The happiness about having the situation is gone because there's fear of loss. And that sits right back. Because that fear is very justified because we know we're going to lose it. Either we die, or they die, or we lose interest in them. The object that you are getting when you have desire is never what you imagined. Because what you imagine, what our desire projects, is having the object makes me happy. And it looks like that. And then we don't analyze when all of a sudden the happiness kind of decreases. We don't analyze, hey, it's still the same object. Where is the happiness now? We think it's the wrong object. Even though if we would be clever, we see the object has not changed. But again, aversion changes the object because it adds unpleasant thing to the situation, the object, or the person that are not there. But we see them as being there. This is why when somebody is angry at somebody else and you want to help for this person to calm down, and you go and you say, but come on, the person is not that bad. They have this and this quality. How does that person respond? What do they say?
You don't understand.
I don't understand. You get angrier more.
You don't know that person. And
angrier.
it's true. I don't know the person that they see. Because they see an unpleasant person where I see either a neutral or a very pleasant person. So it's very true what they're saying. You don't know that person, or you don't understand, because you don't look through the same filter. And neither the pleasant person nor the person that I'm not interested in, nor the unpleasant person exists, really. This is added either by attachment, the pleasantness, or by indifference, not interesting, or by aversion, unpleasant person. That's all. And we don't see it like that. These are the misconceptions. This is what we have to cut through. This is how first intellectually we start to think, how come I like this person so much I couldn't be separated from him? How come now I dread the moment when he comes home from work? How come? No, it's the person's fault, isn't it? Because he has changed. Lama Yeshe used to say, somebody changing so drastically in such a short time, biologically, totally impossible. But the filter can change, just like this. You find a photograph in his pocket with him kind of being very close to another female. I'm talking from the point of view of female, okay? It could be his sister that all of a sudden appeared, but you don't know. And you start to make all these stories if you see that picture.